Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level gaming.
So, everybody, who on here has never been to Twitch.tv? Anybody in here has never been to Twitch.tv? Cool.
All right.
You are much farther ahead than I was, like Christmas last year.
Nice.
So, first thing you want to do when you endeavor to take on any activity is, why do you want to do it? The why is the most important, right? So are you there for the fame, for the fortune? Do you want to be the next ninja? Can you talk Drake into coming on stream with you? Do you want to just hang out and make friends? Is it your intention to just sit there, yell ridiculous puns when you get absolutely wrecked in Fortnite?
Don't do that. Other than Fortnite, that's me, and that's my niche. You can't steal that. Hashtag trademark.
Wasn't that going to be your stream name originally? It was going to be the Plunderdrome?
Oh, it was something like that. It was Pun and Gunners. That was going to be my original name.
Oh, that's cute.
And then your stream name is still a pun though.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
But it's kind of up to you to decide which way you want your streaming career-ish experience to go. So once you've determined why you want to do the thing, make it do the thing. Thank you. You want to spend time really growing what you want to give to the audience, right? Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is creating something that is going to entertain anybody who happens to roll onto your channel, right? So for example, you'll find as you start streaming, this is anybody who is an affiliate or a partner can probably sympathize with the hours you may spend talking to the wall. Or in some cases, talking just to the poor electric skateboard.
Oh, electric skateboard. I just saw him in my chat for the first time.
Right?
Oh, yeah, the guy that
skateboard.
The robot lurker. I was like, you know, electric skateboard? That's pretty bad.
At least that gives you someone to talk to. So, why did both of you start streaming? I think that's a fun question to start with here.
Mine's kind of like a lifetime movie story.
Ooh.
So like I had recently lost my dog and I was really sad and I wanted a hobby to keep me going, like to keep me busy. And one of my friends from school streamed a lot. And so I was talking to her about it because I'd watched her do it and it seemed fun. I wanted to just make some friends. I wanted to meet some new people, talk, keep my mind off things. And so I started streaming for that and I ended up growing a bunch of communities. I found a bunch of people that I liked. They would tell jokes, I would tell jokes back. We would just kind of hang out and it just kept growing and growing and growing. I ended up meeting my boyfriend on Twitch. Like, it's been a big part of my life. Like, community is my biggest thing. It's what keeps me there, what makes me stay. That's my thing.
So I like to play video games with people. I am a social creature. So I found that I ran into the problem of playing my favorite game, which is Dead by Daylight, which is an asymmetrical horror game if you're not familiar with it. But I found that I was running out of spaces to play with people. I would get 4, 6, 8 people, and when your max cap is at 6, and that's with a spectator, not everybody getting to play, it gets to the point where everybody's like, well, I just want to kind of hang out and talk to you guys, but I can't get into the game. And I was like, I could stream this. And they're like, yes, please. So mine was kind of born out of a request from the Steam communities that I was part of. And then after that, I just kind of enjoyed having a set structured schedule that forced me to be like, nope, must get home from work, cook dinner, don't be a lazy butt, and then be ready to go stream at 8 o'clock. So that's kind of why I started. Why did you start streaming?
I started streaming for academic reasons. I didn't actually know what live streaming was and I wanted to understand it, so I started streaming. I kept streaming because I had a couple of friends who were watching me and they'd complain at me if I didn't stream again. And they still complain at me every once in a while. They're like, why are you streaming? You should probably stream this week. I'm like, no, I gotta go do a panel at PopCon. No, you should be streaming. I'm like, I'll try to do it tomorrow for you guys. So that was like one of the things that I wanted to get out and said at this panel definitely is that streaming is very much a social endeavor. The people that I've seen start with streaming and keep with it did it not so much for that fame and the fortune. You'll see people striking out that way. But the people who are doing it and who are still doing it oftentimes do it for the friends that they've made or the friends that they've encountered along the way. And that's a very good way to be approaching your streams to start with. I'm not here to make donations, I'm here to have a good laugh with people who are in my chat. And if you can make that affect and come in from that particular start, you tend to have a really good stream because of that. At least I enjoy watching people do that. Jess, I think whenever I see you stream, like, I just like to listen to you laugh because you seem to laugh maybe once every 3 minutes.
Yeah, I do have an exclamation point snort command. I laugh a lot, and it's now become a competition to try to get me to snort laugh.
Oh no!
Nice.
But since you did it for academic purposes, there's going to be a quiz at the end of this, right? I didn't see.
No, there's no quiz. I actually am. I'm teaching a class on live streaming in 2 weeks. I'm teaching a class in 2 weeks, and then there'll be quizzes, but none of you all are going to be subjected to that particular one, because then we get into uses and gratifications and motivation theory, which is my particular thing, not all your all's.
Fair enough. Purpose, like a superhero, so, like what's your origin story, why? What are you doing it?
Right, so we've covered the why. Let's talk about the how, right? This is what everybody's really excited about. How do I make this cool looking stream? How much do you like learning programs? How much do you like learning new software? How long did it take you to pick up basic functionality in Word and Excel?
I don't know, I was in grade school.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you'll find... okay. You'll find that you spend a good amount of time in initially setting up your overlay and how you decide to broadcast, which is typically with OBS and open broadcasting software. You'll find that you spend a lot of time trying to learn functionality. It takes a minute.
Reddit is your friend.
Reddit is your friend.
Like, it may not seem like it, but...
YouTube is also your friend. YouTube has some great tutorials for OBS, which is your primary, actually, oh look, this is the thing that actually puts the video of my overlay, my face cam, and my gameplay out onto Twitch. You'll spend a good amount of time then subsequently customizing your overlay, which is a good way to encourage engagement with your chat, but isn't strictly necessary. You'll use that as well to set up your face cam, whether you decide to do a face cam or whether you're a creative streamer who just does watercolor. I don't need a face cam for that. I can just watch you create awesome art and be like, please take my money. I would like this. That's where my rabbit hole happens. I rabbit hole into creative, and I get lost. Like, I can't even help it.
Yeah, and even if you're not doing creative, you don't have to have a face cam. There are a lot of their partner streamers like Skin Team who don't even have face cams. They just have like a little cartoon version of themselves or something. So face cam is never necessary if you feel uncomfortable doing that, or you want to start off without a face cam and then get one later. It's all good. Talking's the most important thing, really, with streaming.
They're there for the commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like radio almost. You don't want to have dead air. Because you have like 8 seconds to kind of get somebody's attention and be like, oh, I kind of want to hear what they have to say, even if it's just talking to yourself about what you're doing.
That's the biggest tip I think we give to people that are just getting started is get a rubber ducky, set it on your desk, right next to your monitor, and then explain to the rubber ducky what you're doing in game. You will feel like a crazy person, don't get me wrong, but you will spend a lot of time learning how to narrate and to make what you are doing interesting enough that clearly the rubber ducky is enjoying it. Oh look, maybe the people that have popped in enjoy this thing too.
I don't understand why they enjoy it.
That's okay. Yeah. It'll be the great mystery of your life.
That's his business card, actually.
Like, I don't get this.
I don't understand why you enjoy this.
Why do people enjoy this stuff?
Content information.
Oh my gosh.
So we were
Exactly.
some major getting started stuff that we went over, just in case people are here for that things. Briefly mentioned was a program named OBS. Again, you can Google for some of these things. OBS is short for Open Broadcaster, right?
Broadcasting.
Broadcasting system. There's something else that goes in there, right? So you use OBS, and that's set up to record your stream. OBS is a little bit finicky, as I understand. The defaults that come with are not good for Twitch, actually. Yeah. The first time I tried to stream, it resulted in a stuttering stream, so that's when Margot here is talking about, like doing a little bit Googling, reading up a little bit on Reddit on like what the bit rate you have to set it up to. I forget the other considerations that you have to take into account.
You need to take into consideration your machine. If you're running an i5 with like a 1020 video card, you may have to turn some stuff down. Like you may have, like I am a jerk and have a gaming rig that's an i7 7700K with a 1080 Ti. Like I don't have to turn things down because I specifically designed the machine so I wouldn't have to. But you have to take into consideration, and this is where Reddit is great.
Yeah.
Reddit is amazing for having, here's what my build is, what should my OBS settings be to get a clear stream out to my viewers.
Because I'm a pleb, I do a lot of console stuff, so it's one of those things where you also have to worry about delay then for your capture card, getting a capture card, that kind of thing.
That's something we should probably cover. What's a capture card, I hear you say? Capture cards used to...
You got really good hearing.
Right?
Right? It's super easy.
Superpower. That's my superpower. You get adamantium painted controllers, I get super hearing. Capture cards are used to take the video format that's going to come out of your PS4, your Xbox, Xbone? Is that what they're up to now? I don't know. I stopped counting at 360. I was like, why do we have so many?
It starts over.
Does it?
Yeah, it goes back to 1. Resets.
So you need to get the video out of that and subsequently sync it with the microphone that you're using to pull your audio for commentary, and that's what that card does, is it syncs those two together. And then you can subsequently throw it out to OBS, connecting to your computer, so you will always end up having to have a computer and a console.
Exactly. And then once you get all your gear set up, once you know what you're doing, you've got all your settings kind of ready to go, then you want to think about your game and your mindset. So essentially you've got 3 major considerations: gear, game, and mindset. And it doesn't have to be a game. We mentioned creative as well. So if you can interchange game with art or whatever you're wanting to do. Cooking.
Or, I mean, some people do IRL streams that are just them walking down, videoing their local park.
Going to someplace.
Like, there's...
If you have actual friends, you know, flaunt it, whatever.
I mean, if you're just gonna make me feel bad. But there's a huge range now in Twitch that there wasn't even 2 years ago. They've opened it up into IRL, which lets you do kind of vlog style stuff. It lets you do cook streams. It lets you do any number of kind of interesting endeavors that may not fall under creative and may not fall under a specific gameplay. And it's kind of up to you to decide what you love putting out content for, because that's the biggest, there's that why again, right? If you love to cook and you want to share that with people, go do. Right, and this is a great platform for it.
And if you enjoy playing League of Legends, then play League of Legends. But that brings in another thing about the popularity of the game. The more popular a game is, the further down you are going to be in the Twitch list. So Twitch has a broadcasting list, top of people, the most viewers, bottom rank. So if you're in League of Legends and people are going to have to scroll to the very bottom because you have 1 or 2 people watching you, that they might not find you. But if you enjoy playing League of Legends, then that's what you should do, because it shouldn't be about the numbers. It should just be your enjoyment will bring people slowly. It's just going to be a longer game.
Numbers are a thing that should be analyzed at regular intervals, but they shouldn't be something that you devote a majority of your time to, I should say. Because your numbers will never do what you think they're going to do. Like, you can sit there and think, oh, I'm gonna have like 30 followers in like a week, it'll be amazing, and you stream for like 12 hours a day and you end up with like 4 followers after 4 days, and you're just like, I give up.
And like, everybody's gonna become Charlie Day, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's like, there's Pepe Sylvia, like, you're gonna have that board with like, why are there only 4 people following me? Like, why did they come in at this time versus that? Like, it's gonna happen, but you just gotta like okay, and then refocus and figure out what you're doing, which is why that purpose is so important, so you can reorient yourself when you get sucked into the beast.
Yeah, ignore your viewer count is my best piece of advice, secondarily to scheduling. But ignore your viewer count. Pretend that there are always however many people you ever think could possibly be in there, and behave that way. Yeah. Always pretend there are 50 people watching if you're small screens like some of us. I mean, if you're someone who's already 50 feet. I've done that. That was scary. That was super scary. I accidentally clicked my viewer count in my dashboard, and it was like 54, and I'm like, no. And then I got the raid notification. I was like, oh, that's where that came from. Okay. So games to stream, what to stream is up to what brings you joy. Like seriously, if you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, and if you've read Crush It or Crushing It, which is the recent remake, it doesn't matter really what you're streaming, so much that it matters you love what you're streaming. It could be, frankly, you could literally stream making slime, like it doesn't matter. If you love it, that passion is what people are there for. The gameplay, it helps, and there's some trust and accountability to it, but what people are there for is a human connection. And if you are passionate about whatever it is you're doing, whether you're watercoloring, whether you are playing League of Legends, whether you are getting mass murdered in Dead by Daylight, it's there. It's the passion for the game and for what you're doing that draws people and that keeps them watching. If that makes sense? Thoughts?
I think part of that also is if you're passionate about it, you also have to, some people will have to work on this part of it is, can you make that passion apparent in your spoken thoughts and the actions that you take on stream? So you might be really excited about it, but you might be a person like me that doesn't show a lot of emotion, and you have to sometimes crank that up a little bit. Are you like that?
I know you. I know you.
Yeah. Thankfully, some people really respond well to my sarcastic humor. I can tell that those people respond well to my sarcastic humor because those are the ones that give me good instructor evaluations I take in my classes. The ones who don't typically give me the worst ones because they think that things I say sarcastically I actually meant. But like making it entertaining is the other part of it. Like you might love Overwatch, but sometimes your love of Overwatch, like my love of Overwatch, comes out in like I stream cuss words. And that may or may not be entertaining for people, right? Like for my wife, that is actually not entertaining at all. She says, please stop that. So I specifically don't stream Overwatch because it's just me being really pissed off. Sometimes enjoying being pissed off, but being really pissed off. So it does mean like I love this thing, and I'm able to approach it in a semi like professional capacity to be like, yeah. This is awesome, and I'm excited about these things, and I have all these thoughts about it that I want to share with you guys while I'm playing it. Or in some cases, I'm assuming half of your stream is like you screaming. Terrified of things.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
In playing horror genre, I get spooked a lot. There's an emote we have, or not an emote, it's a command that is. Basically, when I get murdered in Dead by Daylight, which happens about every two out of 3 matches, I end up dead, which is fair odds for an asymmetrical horror game. There's a sound cue I have that plays the final jigsaw. Like some people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you, not anymore. And it's been a really trip when people do that because it's like you're an ass, I'm already dead, and you're totally playing.
But yeah, it's basically like how can you make it entertaining? What is it about your style, who you are as a person? Sometimes rewatching what's called a VOD, which is basically your broadcast recorded. Going there, making sure you kind of watch it, see what you're like. Are you talking enough? Like, be critical of yourself, kind of look at it and see what you're doing, what you might be able to improve upon. You can always also ask friends to watch you. Family.
Yeah.
If you watch your VOD and you start yawning, or you find yourself clicking away off to check Facebook, that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Check and see, like, because you might be in the moment and think that you're doing a lot, and then look back and be like, whoa, I was not doing anything. I was just staring. And I found out my thinking face just looks confused and scared the whole time, so I found that out about myself. It's just like what is happening? Oh my god.
So people will tell you if you have like resting
I have
face.
resting confused face.
Confused face.
Just like, are you okay? Do you have thoughts that are happening?
Are you injured? Do they?
Yeah.
Do you
kind of
are
look like a confused dog?
So
you mentioned this practice you have of rewatching your VODs. Is that something that you do? Did it often, or do you do it less than that you've been
less and
practicing
less.
this for a
now that I've been doing it more. But I would say when you're first starting out, I would do it like at least once a week. I would take like 30 minutes or so, just kind of go through the past week's broadcasts, and I would look over stuff and be like, okay, I was really critical. I didn't like the jokes that I was telling, so I was like, I want to make more long form jokes. I want to do this. I don't like the way I was interacting with people when they came in. I want to make, oh, I missed that person. I'm going to try and make sure I check the chat more. Like I did a bunch of different notes, and I would do stuff. I also like to pre-write things sometimes about my day or stories that I could tell. That way, if I have dead air, like I don't know what to talk about, nothing's happening in the game. I play a lot of story games, and sometimes it's just walking. I can be like, hey, I just watched Riverdale. Does anybody else watch that? Can we talk about it? Archie's eyebrows. For life. So I just basically wanted to like, you just make a list of things that you enjoy talking about. Doesn't have to be creepy. Sorry that I went that direction, but you can go a different direction that's non-creepy.
Or you could totally go creepy if that's your jam.
Yeah,
right?
That's your jam.
So
then I'm your jelly.
Terrible.
So I guess what I'm trying to get towards here also is that this is actually your slide too, the 3 Ps, right?
Oh yeah.
That, like becoming this person that we're describing here isn't something that all of you might take to immediately, right? It was actually really hard for me, and I've been doing this as like a teacher for a long time, but doing it as a teacher talking to nobody was a strange thing. So Jess has like some really good insights here on how to do that stuff. And she's got the 3-year goal. The 3
So
Ps.
I call it the 3 Ps, which is practice, presentation, and perseverance. So just keep practicing it, keep doing it over time. Like anything, you'll get better at it. You'll learn what works and what doesn't work. Presentation is basically what we've been talking about. Keep moving your gear forward, keep trying to make it look better. I went from like a really awful camera to a little bit better camera, really awful mic to a little bit better. Now I have a green screen. Like it'll work slowly over time. You'll see what you like and you dislike. You'll add commands, you'll do stuff. Perseverance is just literally not stopping. Just do it. Like if you like it and you enjoy it, there are gonna be days when you don't wanna do it. Like anything.
I really don't want to point at your boobs, but just do it.
Go ahead.
Do it.
But it's one of those things, just keep going. Like there are some things like trolls that will come in, they will say nasty things to you that you didn't know could be put together in the English language. It's like, does that even make sense grammatically? I don't know. But
just ban them.
Just ban them, move on. Like just keep doing it. If it's what you love, then that's what you just need to keep doing. And if you need to take a little break, take a break. Like once you start building a community, that community will come back to you. So don't worry about it. So take care of yourself and just keep persevering. So that's kind of the 3 Ps. Like keep in mind you'll need to practice, you'll need to do a good presentation, and you'll need to just persevere through anything that happens because it'll be kind of a long ride.
It's a good time, especially as you grow your presentation skills. Everybody remembers their first like book report they did in middle school, right? And it was just awkward, right? Well, guess what? That's how you start on Twitch. Like you feel awkward and you feel like a crazy person talking to an empty room, and then things just get more and more comfortable as you continue on.
I thought you were going to say it was an introductory book report. I was like, I'm out. Yeah, you have to read Lord of the Flies, and then once you give a presentation on that, then you're good to go.
That seems rather poignant, but all right, we'll go with that. That's a thing. Not mad at you.
Has this been similar for you, Margot, going through this process?
Because of how I got started, and mine came from just an overflow of my Steam community, not as much. It's not so much practice as it is presentation and perseverance for me. I've spent not a small amount of time learning how to do my own custom overlays for my streams for the different games that I play, so that I can set the camera in the right place and then subsequently set like the bitboss in the right place, set the latest followers, all that stuff. Things that increase my viewer engagement in the right place so that it doesn't interfere with gameplay, but is still visible and eye-catching and animated enough to really draw people in to participate, to want to see, hey, that's my screen name at the top of the screen. I have recently, like it's one of those things. Let's try and feed your viewers, because that's what they want.
Another portion of this, if you'll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another portion of this that I thought was interesting, that I've heard from Jess, I've heard from other students of mine that are getting interested in streaming, is that they always watch other streamers first, and they're always taking inspiration from them. I can't actually unpack this very much. Jess, I think this was one of your points again.
Oh yeah, so basically learn from watching others. Like anything, if you're wanting to start streaming, go ahead and find somebody that you enjoy watching, watch what they do, see how they do it. Don't copy them. No, that's terrible. Like,
be inspired
like a
by
Marx
them.
Brothers movie where you're just copying everything that they're doing, but try to see what you like about their stream and see if you could maybe change it to fit your personality and your style. Like anything, you want to watch the masters do it.
Who are people that you watched that have helped you out?
Just a lot of people. Well, it's one of those things. I started with actually Elsbeth. I started with Blossoming Sun is somebody who's helped me tremendously. I met her through Team Sin Squad. Met Kaylee, who used to be Sinfully Riddling, if you knew that. I watched a lot of Skin Teen because she didn't have a webcam, but I loved her style of humor. Like, she was just amazing. I watched a lot of dance gaming. Dance gaming is one of my favorites. I watched a lot of people that were extremely funny, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do comedy casts. I actually watched a lot of Conan O'Brien's like YouTube stuff, because I was like, that's the kind of comedy that I want to do. So even though this is more of a YouTube thing, I want to kind of transfer that, where I'm telling these jokes as I'm playing it.
Did you find it helpful?
Yeah. I did, definitely. It kind of structured like how I wanted to tell jokes during the stream and how I wanted to play games and what I wanted to be looking for within games to figure out. So I tell a lot of puns. I tell a lot of jokes.
Nice.
That's good.
I think I'll let you guys, like, this is all you, so that's the next slide. I'll let you guys segue or do whatever.
Do you want to start off with pre-stream rituals?
Pre-stream rituals? Go for
Let's
it.
talk about pre-stream rituals. So, the amount of energy that you're going to be putting out during stream is going to be directly commensurate to the amount of preparation most of the time that you have done, and then is going to be directly correlated to the amount of drop you're going to feel at the end. If you're familiar with the idea of con drop, you have all of this excitement at a convention, and you meet all these people, and it's a good time, and then you come home and you're like, where's all the people? There's no home. Right? That happens in streaming way more than you'd think, because you get to engage with your chat, you get to talk with them, you get to ask them questions and grow relationships, and then you log off because it's midnight or something and you've been streaming for 4+ or more hours. Yeah, you always end up streaming much longer than you had thought you were going to. Like, I planned for 3 hours streaming. This is the longest I'm going to do this. 5 hours later, one more match, let's go. Like, that's, oh God. But pre-stream rituals are there so that you have some sort of accountability to what you're doing. So for me, pre-stream ritual is some vocal exercises way back from like high school choir, a fresh bottle of water, a trip to the restroom, and a reasonably, I don't know, subtle cam check, like checking your levels for sound and for the camera.
Just go in, it's fun that way.
Oh God,
it's like rolling the dice, and I always roll one.
No. Sound levels. Test your sound levels, please. For the love of puppies, kittens, and Christmas, test your sound levels.
Like just emerald that. You want to like bam, and just wake them up as soon as they come in.
Well, what does your pre-stream ritual look like?
Oh, mine is kind of all over the place, but I like to come home from work. I like to go ahead and just change because I don't want to be wearing my Old Navy work clothes. I like to go ahead and just get some water or some coffee, depending on how I'm feeling, and just kind of get ready mentally. So I listen to music during my starting soon screen, and I let it play in the background, so I can just kind of listen to it and chill.
Which you can do for up to 30 minutes. Just so you know, according to Twitch guidelines last time I checked.
Unless you're Bethesda, apparently.
I would be. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Let's not talk about that.
But yeah, there's a Lorne Michaels quote I really like that I think is good for this. It's, the show doesn't go on because it's ready, the show goes on because it's 11:30. He said that about SNL.
That's such a good quote.
It's huge. Like, and that's the other biggest success tip I can give to people who are just starting this is to set a schedule, even if it's only once a week for 2 hours, right? I stream on Wednesday afternoons from 4 to 6, whatever it is. Or I stream on Saturday morning from 10 to noon. Whatever your time schedule, or if it's, I stream every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. like a crazy person.
Like, I'm still terrible with schedule. I'm so bad at it. Like, consistency is key with Twitch, and I'm the worst at that. And I know it, because I'm like all over the place. My dad once told me though, he was like, it's fine, it's just like you're rare, like a diamond. Like, tell them that.
Hey, there you go. That's a good way to think about that.
I was like, no, it's just that.
But the more consistently your viewers can come see you and come to rely on that entertainment, on that connection, on that relationship with you as a character or you as a streamer being there on a regular basis, the more devoted and the more connected and the more engaged those viewers become. And schedule is huge. Schedule and do the thing.
It's just like hanging out with friends. Like, I tend to think of it as friends. Like, my community is genuinely part of my family. Like, I talk to them even off stream, so it's one of those things where it's like, if you said you're going to be with your friends at a specific time, you let them know that you're not going to be able to make it to that cafe. Like, oh hey, something come up. So I always let them know. Or I'm going to be like, I'm going to be on at 7, and then I'm right there. Or I'm like 5 minutes late, because I'm that friend that's like always late. I'm like, I'll be there at 7. Well, Jess is going to be here at 7:20 then. Like, oh.
That happens. But the next thing we want to kind of touch on here is going to be how you engage with your community, with your chat. Right? Your chat ends up being your community, and it's the direct window with how they engage with you, but a lot of us engage with our communities outside of Twitch through various forms, whether that be social media like Twitter and Facebook, or
Discord,
or Discord, right? Because Discord is awesome. Their little symbol looks like that. That lovely lady right there is wearing the Discord symbol, which is the most useful program on the planet. Oh my God! I thought I loved Slack. I love Discord more.
Why did we not get a Facebook and an Instagram t-shirt wearing person too? That way we could have just pointed to every single social media.
I'm really dumb. Oh well, that's all right. But ideally, you're going to want to find ways to engage with your community aside from just talking to them, right? So you're going to want to be like, if you, let's say you you start following, right? So I have a sound effect that plays that is a ridiculous celebration thing, and it has a dumb GIF that comes up on the screen, and that's kind of the engagement I give to that viewer for following. And it's that same give and take that you start generating as you continue to build your audience. What do you guys do? I'm kind of curious.
For follows, I typically have like the Tomb Raider secret sound effect, and then Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks giving them a thumbs up, and then I just thank them personally. I'm like, thank you, X person.
Sure.
Welcome to the plays.
That's awesome.
Like, and then talk to them a little bit, ask them how their day is going, get to know them a little bit.
How about you?
I only have my overlays on about half the time, so I have whatever the basic stuff from Streamlabs is.
All right.
When it comes to community engagement, what's fun about the stuff I do is when I'm sitting there programming, oftentimes my viewers like give me ideas or throw out concepts that could be incorporated in what I'm working on, and so that's how I engage with them oftentimes, is that they're like, hey, make that person turn red when they jump. And I'm like, sure, let's do that. And so we spend the time writing that code to make the person turn red.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's that type of community engagement of like the community gets to directly influence the work that I'm doing inside my particular stream.
Way to show us up, Travis.
I think that there's going to be more of that in the future for
showing me up.
For
wow,
streamers,
I see how it is.
Like, hey, can you do this inside the game, or maybe they can do something a little that will affect your game. I think there's going to be a lot more of that coming up that you guys will see in the games you're playing in the next 2 or 3 years. But yes,
there's a lot of good Twitch interactive games already. For example, Vermintide 2 released a Twitch mode where if you are broadcasting on Twitch, it allows anybody in your Twitch chat to subsequently affect the game itself.
Yeah.
So it'll give you 2 options, and it'll say, hey, would you like to give the party health potions to heal in their quest, or would you like to send a whole bunch of monsters at them? My community is terrible and always gives me the monsters, because they like watching me get frustrated when I die, because it's funny to them. Maybe a little less funny to me. Okay.
There are a bunch of other indie games too that are like that, like Party Hard and the game.
And there's a lot of
it's gonna end up in you crying probably for like sadness at everything that's being done to you.
But it's very common for if you're first starting to try and engage chat-wise, you can do that inside Twitch chat with certain games, and there's also a bunch of party games that people do. What's the you don't know Jack?
Oh yeah, Jackbox.
Jackbox does a ton of games that people can just participate in, either in a web browser with you in your Twitch chat, or inside the actual Jackbox app, which gives you the chance to really increase that engagement. And I wholly recommend that if you are struggling to understand or to generate something to engage, that you give something like that a try. Something with either a direct Twitch integration or that is maybe listed as a party game, quote unquote, to try and get that connection in.
Please, Lord, though, if you use Jackbox, like make sure you do Twitch integration where they have to have like a Twitch account set up. Just trust.
I mean, it's not that I don't want to play with the really inappropriately named person.
Oh, I play with the inappropriately named person, but there's some stuff that gets said that's like, oh God. Well, it's guidelines, so then you have to like throw everything across the room.
Yeah, party games are gonna turn into an interesting scenario, but at least at that point you've started encouraging the engagement, which is what you're looking for. You're looking for there to actually be engagement between your viewers and you. And if you have to perpetuate it via Jackbox games, it's not so bad. It's not the worst thing that could possibly happen.
I'm sorry, that lady confused me because she just came in with a sign that said 15 minutes and I was like, what? But then we have 15 minutes left. It's my first panel. Hi, I'm Jess. I was like, for what? Is a surprise gonna happen?
That is the countdown before we black bag you and drag you off to like Twitch affiliate.
Can I get the roomie trunk?
Maybe
if I'm good. Okay.
Maybe you get the nice steamer trunk. We don't know.
I'm not gonna fit into that.
We get through all the things.
Let's see.
We went through the most of it.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we got the things. We have a checklist for stuff.
Streaming.
No, I think we covered most of that. So we cover local.
I want to push Indianapolis streamers and then.
So who here is local to Indianapolis and in the state of Indiana?
Hell yeah. Does Louisville count?
Yes, totally. You're within like 3 hours. That's totally reasonable. Louisville's like 2 hours, right?
Louisville's hour 45 if you're going 20 above.
Yeah, straight in. Going 20 over the speed.
Welcome. Welcome to the land of corn.
So Indianapolis has a base for indie Twitchers. These are Twitch streamers for the state of Indiana primarily, and then adjacent cities, Cincinnati, Louisville. We meet probably about once a month. Our next meeting is on the 30th of June.
Yes.
June, yes. I set the event out on Facebook. I should know this. 3 weeks. 30th. Today's like the 9th, right?
Yes.
9 plus 21 is 30. That's 3 weeks. I can count. I'm very proud of myself for that.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick math.
Oh no. Let's not get into that math. There was a guy I knew who taught the Common Core math as a IRL stream to try and teach it to parents who couldn't understand it to help their kids, which was just wow.
As teachers, we don't understand.
I just want to teach my kids the old-fashioned way. If the teacher complains, tell them to call me and I'll put them straight.
Truth.
Oh man.
But we basically get together every month to discuss the challenges that we're facing, the solutions that we're finding to manage them, and then later on just to network and connect. We talk about how to grow, and you really should be spending probably as much, if not twice as much time watching and engaging with other streamers as you do streaming yourself. If you spend 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 actively participating, this is not go lurk and leave yourself in a tab and then go look at Facebook. No. Go talk to people. This is the biggest thing I see new streamers do. They'll be like, I'm just gonna be in all these twitch.tv groups on Facebook and I'm going live playing Fortnite. Why are there only 3 people watching me? I don't understand. It's because you don't make any connections. You must actually connect with people. Rules of the road before we open up to Q&A. Follow for follow is not a wise plan. Don't do it. It seems like a thing that might work. It doesn't. Don't do it. Host for host, same thing. It's not super wise. Don't bother. It's a waste of your time. You're gonna get way more viewers by actively engaging in other channels than you ever are from follow for follow or host for host. Other Twitch scammy things we should warn them of.
Oh, just basically like use common sense. If you're in like a Discord, don't just go into the stream alerts and just post your stream all the time. If you're like never there, don't do anything with the community. Like it's a dick move. Like It's basically just worry about what you're doing.
There's that other one though, where you go into somebody else's stream and you be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stream Overwatch in 5 minutes. But,
yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Please, for the love of puppies, kittens, Christmas, don't do that. That's really mean. There are some streamers I know who do really cool things to encourage other streamers around them and network. And they will either set up a command that'll be like, hey, can you throw out 3 tacos if you stream into the chat, right? And they'll be like, go follow them, right? They are clearly streamers, but they are clearly here hanging out and networking. Go check them out. And that is a much more subtle and a much more, I'd say, positive way, in all honesty, to encourage other streamers without completely derailing your own stream, right? Because all of us want to engage with our communities, and we want to be supportive of the streamers around us, but all of us are kind of selfish.
Like, networking is good. I think hanging out is better. Just, you know, go out there, watch people that you like, meet people that you like, make friends. It'll happen naturally. Don't force it. If you try to force networking, that's not networking.
That's just being
be kind.
What's hanging out look like to you? Like when you're actively hanging out? Like
just actively hanging out in chat? Oh
yeah.
God. Well, I mean, it's pretty much me making a lot of inappropriate jokes. Like, so that's what she said.
You go on the streams and you
and
make
it's terrible.
A bunch of silly jokes.
I kind of took the business school route to this and started going to Twitch meetups around the country. Early this year I hit Chicago, I hit St. Louis, which was a blast. And it's a bunch of people that just get together, throw business cards at each other, and talk about playing games and streaming on Twitch and what it looks like. And I have met some of the coolest people doing that. I have met some of the neatest, two things. I've met some of the neatest people and some of the dumbest jokes now through, oh, we go out to a Twitch meetup, it's at a bar, we have a couple drinks, and then the inside jokes happen, and they'll never die, because that's how inside jokes work. But the one thing I found with Twitch streamers is that because we are in an inherently engaging activity, I almost wanted to say profession, but I'm like, for not everyone is this a profession.
Yeah.
Because we're in an inherently engaging activity, I don't think I've met a Twitch streamer yet who wasn't perfectly friendly and willing to be like, hey, how you doing? I wanted to know, what do you stream? What do you stream? Like, it's always an easy conversation to have. Even if you're like, oh, I haven't started streaming yet, or oh, I stream this type of game, because horror indie games for me is not everybody's bag, right? We had a scavenger hunt at the last meetup I went to in St. Louis that a friend of mine basically said, I dare you to find a Twitch streamer who does not have the word variety on their business card. And I was like, that's not fair.
I dare you to find a Twitch streamer who still has their dignity.
On that note, I think we're going to open this up for Q&A. Okay, sound like a plan? Excellent. Questions, comments,
concerns,
funny anecdotes?
Well, what are third-party extensions that you guys use? Because I know Streamlabs is a big one for a lot of people, but what else is there that's
StreamElements is what I primarily use. Streamlabs is your standard go-to. I just got exposed to StreamElements first for some reason. So I started in StreamElements. Streamlabs has better donations and integration that way. And maybe someone who uses Streamlabs can speak to that a little better. But for me, I like StreamElements because it allows me to customize stuff a lot more than I feel comfortable doing it in Streamlabs. But it's really up to what works for your particular style of streaming, if that makes sense.
I just mostly use Streamlabs,
That was going to be my exact question. But I will ask another one.
Shoot.
So you talked about capture cards earlier.
Yeah.
Do you guys recommend, let's say somebody's working with a budget, okay? So I stream an Elgato capture card.
Yep.
Just regular because I stream.
They're the standard.
Retro games, so I need the AV out.
Yep.
But is there anything that you would recommend to somebody who's starting to stream?
That one, like, that's the one that I bought, and I still use it to this day. Like, it's good for retro stuff, although I lost the retro cord, so I don't use it as much. But it's durable, and it's nice. I ended up getting an AverMedia, but I didn't like it. The audio was really funky for me on it. So I think Elgato is a good starting point.
To speak to starter gear for other things, for me, mid-range of microphone ended up being a Yeti Blue, which is pretty standard and pretty common. They're right around 100, 120 bucks. Not super cheap, but the sound quality is really awesome. Drop 20, 25 bucks for a boom arm. Save yourself the headache of your microphone catching the vibrations of you trying desperately not to die. And then I ended up with a Logitech C290 or C90, something like that.
I have a Logitech C920 for my
920, that's it, 920, sorry. But it's a base webcam. You can get it on sale on Amazon for like 50, right on 50 bucks if you catch it on sale.
Yeah.
If you end up buying its full price, it's like 75 or something. It's gotten considerably less expensive, and it does also have the option for a chroma key capture, which is green screen.
I use. It's pretty nice as long as you have a good lighting setup and stuff.
Yeah.
It will be kind to you. Like,
lighting becomes a thing that is important if you are doing face cam, which is part of the reason we didn't cover it here, because not everybody's going to use a face cam. But remember your key, your fill, and your backlight. If you're familiar at all with photography and the art of painting with light, I've got a big softbox I bought on Amazon for like 45 bucks, I think was all I spent for the two softboxes and the stands for them for my office. And I key light, fill light, and I've got a little thing that I bought at Home Depot that's clipped onto the back of my computer chair as my backlight so that it doesn't look ridiculous.
Like, if you can, that's the greatest.
If you can get away with it.
In my case, it's basically remember whatever will fit in front of you. Like, it's a tiny apartment. So I just have to have like these two lights here, and then eventually, thanks lady.
I love it. Usually you get to like 2 minute warning.
No, it's fine. But I love what your face looks like and what your lighting looks like is huge if you are going to use body language and you talk with your hands like I do to engage with your audience, right? So if you are one of those people who will just sit here and be able to, this is really hard to do, holy crap. If you're just one of those people that will sit there with your hands in your lap or your hands on your keyboard and not want to emote or I hate that. Ooh, that's so hard for me to do. I can't do it. I can't even do it. Okay. Anyway, if you're one of those people who doesn't want to engage, right? Yeah. If you're one of those people who doesn't engage that way, they don't use facial or you don't use your hands to talk, then that's totally fine. You may not need as much lighting, or you can feasibly get away with just a desk lamp, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you've got an extra source of lighting besides that light above your head that's usually in the room, you should be fine.
Desk lamp with a wax piece of paper to diffuse the light is a perfect set.
Absolutely. Assuming your light bulb is not touching your wax paper.
Yeah. With that kind of advice, you should hop up here.
Right? Questions? Yes.
Yeah, so if you guys each had one piece of advice to give like a new streamer, you know, what would it be? Just, it's like, what's the most important thing that you leave with somebody?
I would say that actually genuinely getting to know the people that come into your community that's the one thing. Like, I've noticed in a lot of, if I go into a stream and they talk but they're clearly not interested or giving that kind of receptionist nice because they're trying to just get extra viewers, like that's something, like genuinely reach out to people and try to get to know them. I think it's actually like a twofold advice, that, and then also just don't worry about your numbers. Because that's been a big thing that I've always worried about. I've been like, oh my God, like I took a week off and now it's down. So just hide your viewer count. Hide it right off the bat so you never look at it.
The one thing, if I wanted to do one thing, it would probably be find a schedule and stick to it. Rain, shine, dead aunts and uncles, be damned, you stick to it. It's that consistency that people are seeking when they go to Twitch for human interaction.
I would say find something you can geek out about in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean that you're always like going on and on and on about what it is, but you might be able to like draw depth from what seems to not have depth at all. That's what people tend to respond to when I talk to people like, why do you even watch Twitch? Like, I love people who talk about how that chair was manufactured, all the details that went into it, and they're clearly passionate about it. They love that about people. For me, I'm typically drawing depth if I'm playing through like game jam games by like making up stories about what's going on as they go along. So I'm trying to be geeky about it, even if it's not going into the technical details of what exists.
That's really good advice. Like, honestly, you know, the stock pictures of like women laughing at salads, that's Twitch. Like, salad is amazing. Yeah,
that's fun.
When you're encoding your stream, is it
better to sometimes use your CPU or use the GPU?
Oh,
Depends on what you're streaming.
Yeah.
Like
what do you
sometimes I'm using a capture card streaming, like I'm using my Razer's capture card and streaming off my PS2, and then other times I'm streaming using either NVIDIA. Well, I use XSplit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they give you the option to use GPU or CPU. I feel like you can use GPU if you're using that capture card to capture the stuff, but would it be better?
What's your CPU look like?
6700 overclocked to like 4.5 gigahertz.
Shoot, I use my CPU. Are you also running like SLI Bridge GTX 1080s or?
1080s, yeah.
1080, yeah. Are you SLI Bridge or you just one?
Just one.
Yeah. No, that's kind of up to where you feel comfortable. If you've taken the time to overclock your CPU, it's clearly going to be able to handle that. And if you would rather the graphics be there to process the game itself that you're playing, although if you're capture carding, I'd use the GPU because then you're not using it.
One time, for some reason, they had settings in there to like record my own gameplay, and it was like I'm running at 4K, and for some reason at points it's chugging out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And it cost us a win.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, and eventually turned it off. And
yeah, NVIDIA has a lot of really cool features that cater now to streaming. There's a couple of them that like that keep your last 5 minutes of gameplay in cache, so that you can then pull it when you have a kind of a miracle moment, like when you glitch out things. I may while I was playing Dead by Daylight, we were in a Kill Your Friends, which is a group of just connected people versus out in live play, and we ended up making the killer fly by trapping them against something, which I wouldn't have caught if it wasn't for the NVIDIA cache. So it's super cool. Anyway, I think we are out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming.
I'm JessPlayin. Hi. I'm Guy.
SirenWithAnX.
Meandering Leaf, I guess.